Good morning or good afternoon. My name is William White. I'm a field marketing specialist for ARDEX Tile and Stone. I just want to take a minute and say thank you for joining us for today's Learn from Home webinar. In an effort to stay connected during these times of social distancing, we will host ARDEX Tile and Stone webinars every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. In 2 weeks, we will feature a brand new course focused on the new exciting ARDEX exterior installation systems. Be sure to sign up for that webinar. In today's presentation, we will be covering ARDEX uncoupling systems known as FLEXBONE. I will turn it over to our presenter, Technical Manager of ARDEX Tile and Stone Installation Systems, Mr. Mark Penine. Mark has been with ARDEX Tile and Stone for over a decade and is active in many industry committees, including ANSI 108 Standards Committee, NTCA Technical Committee, MMSA, and ICRI Substrate Committees. Mark is also a certified tile and flooring inspector. We will be holding a question and answer portion at the end of the presentation. Please feel free to submit your questions in real time using the chat function. Mark, take it away.
Thanks, William. Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Tile Tuesday, FLEXBONE Uncoupling Systems. We will be reviewing 3 ARDEX uncoupling products and systems today: the ARDEX UI 740, the ARDEX UI 720, as well as our FLEXBONE Heat. Our 2 uncoupling systems for everyday installations are the ARDEX FLEXBONE UI 740, which is our traditional bonded uncoupling mat that acts as a waterproofing and a vapor ventilation system. We also offer ARDEX UI 720, which is a floating uncoupling mat, and it's truly the only unbonded system in the industry. Let's take a closer look at the structure of the FLEXBONE technology. The unique bone structure offers tangible benefits, like the grip lock technology. The overhang on the dog bones offer maximum tensile bond strength. The mat is extremely flexible. It has underside channels for vapor pressure compensation, and it also offers continuous mortar connections. The unique bone-shaped design makes pre-filling the cavities much easier. In just one pass, you can fill the FLEXBONE system. Let's review the FLEXBONE UI 740 bonded uncoupling membrane. The UI 740 is a high load bearing backbone with enhanced protection for tile installations in high traffic and high stress areas. Again, it has the grip lock technology, and it also has a thick premium double welded felt on the bottom. The grip lock technology offers 50% better tensile pull-off strength than the leading competitor. UI 740 can also be used as topside waterproofing where there is a possibility of water overflow for areas like bathrooms, laundry rooms, and kitchens. You want to use the SK seam tape to seal the joints between the mats, as well as the transition from wall to floor. To recap the ARDEX UI 740 key advantages, It has maximum levels of shear strength protection to prevent tile and grout joint cracking, delamination, or swelling. It has the highest levels of tensile bond strength to protect the tile installation. It's ideal for large and super format tile and stone. It's perfect for your high traffic and high stress areas, and the roll has minimal memory. Again, it can be used as waterproofing as well. The prefill is very easy, just one pass. The UI 740 has passed the Robinson floor test or the ASTM C627 with an extra heavy rating.
ARDEX FLEXBONE Uncoupling membranes feature a unique bone-shaped design for improved performance benefits. Grip lock technology provides an optimal grip to the mortar for a greater tensile bond strength via undercuts in the bone shapes. The bone-shaped design provides increased flexibility for maximum absorption of shear movement in the substrate and the highest levels of safety for tile installations. ARDEX UI 740 FlexBone Uncoupling membrane is a high-load transitional bonded system that delivers maximum shear and tensile bond strength, making it ideal for large format tile applications in high traffic, high stress areas. First, the substrate must be even and structurally sound per TCNA or TTMAC guidelines. Once the substrate is properly prepared to receive a bonded application, sweep and clean any dust or debris from the substrate. Flat trowel and key the mortar into the substrate. When using ARDEX mortars, use a 1/4 inch by 3/16 inch V-notch trowel. Comb out just enough mortar to be covered by the next pre-cut sheet of ARDEX UI 740 FlexBone. Place the membrane felt side down into the wet mortar. Once the membrane is set into place, use a float or flat side of the trowel to fully embed the membrane into the mortar. Allow the mortar to set before installing the tile to eliminate displacing the membrane. All movement joints and perimeter movement joints must be honored up through the membrane and the tile installation per TCNA and TTMAC guidelines. Pull the mats to the joint, leaving a 5/16 to 3/8 inch space over the joint. To avoid mortar getting into the joints, place the self-adhesive ARDEX UD 156 joint movement tape over the joint area. ARDEX UI 740 FlexBone can be used as a topside waterproofing membrane. In waterproofing applications, ARDEX SK175 seam tape must be installed over all the membrane seams and at the changes of plane. Using the flat side of the trowel, completely fill the cavities of the membrane around the bone shapes. Notice how easily the mortar fills in the cavities. ARDEX mortars are highly recommended due to their unique curing and drying capabilities. In addition, when using ARDEX mortars and grouts, the installation can qualify for the comprehensive ARDEX System 1 warranty. With the ARDEX UI 740 membrane, you can choose to comb in the mortar wet and wet or let the mortar cure before installing the tile. In this video, the mortar is combed in wet and wet. Using the proper trowel for the tile being installed, comb out the mortar. When installing large format tile using ARDEX high performance Microtech mortars, back buttering is typically not required. TCNA and TTMAC do recommend back buttering large format tiles. ARDEX recommends polymer modified mortars with an ISO 13007 C2 rating and or ANSI 118.4, 118.11, or 118.15 for ARDEX uncoupling system installations. After the mortar is cured, grout the floor. ARDEX mortars allow grouting to begin from 3 to 24 hours. Please refer to the appropriate technical data sheet for grouting times. Perimeter and expansion joints can be filled with a suitable soft joint filler like ARDEX SX 100% silicone sealant or ARDEX CA20P multi-purpose construction adhesive and sealant. ARDEX UI 740 FlexBone Uncoupling membrane, the most advanced single-source uncoupling technology for invincible tile and stone installation protection.
The ARDEX UI 720 FlexBone is an unbonded floating uncoupling membrane is the only one like it in the industry. Super easy to install. After the perimeter edge strip is installed, just roll it out, connect your seams, and you can start tiling. Up to 50% time savings with the UI 720 uncoupling membrane. Because it has over 1,000 perforations per square foot and underside channels, the UI 720 can be installed over new concrete as soon as it can be walked on. A typical bonded uncoupling membrane installation from prep to grout. It's going to take anywhere from 8 to 24 hours. The installation of the UI 720 will save you up to 50% time savings. Because FlexBone UI 720 is floating, it's perfect for going over difficult substrates. Whether you have vinyl or linoleum floor coverings, resin or modified OSB, you may have contamination like paint, oil, or adhesive residue. You may even have chipped or cracked existing ceramic tile. You can also go over epoxy and polished concrete floors. And again, over green concrete, which is new or slightly damp. Here's an example of the UI 720 over epoxy terrazzo. The mat is connected with the self-adhesive mesh overlap that comes on the roll, and at the end of the roll, you would use the ARDEX UD 158 seam reinforcement tape to connect one roll to the next. A beautiful completed installation, car showroom with the UI 720. ARDEX UI 720 is also perfect for frequently changed floors, like your boutique retail stores, multi-unit housings, trade show exhibits, anywhere flooring is changed out frequently. The ARDEX UI 720 is perfect for this application. ARDEX UI 720 was tested as light commercial rating per the Robinson floor test, ASTM C627. So it can go into doctor's offices, cafeterias, car showrooms, as well as boutique retail outlets. To review, the ARDEX UI 720 FlexBone floating uncoupling membrane saves up to 50% time, plus significant labor and material cost savings as well. It is truly 100% uncoupling. It's perfect for going over difficult substrates without remediation, and it's ideal for frequently changed floors. It has vapor equalization with horizontal ventilation of residual moisture in the substrate. It's successfully been installed through Europe for the past 20 years.
The ARDEX UI 720 FlexBone floating uncoupling membrane is the first and only unbonded uncoupling system that can cut installation time in half and is the perfect solution for difficult substrates. ARDEX UI 720 FlexBone floating uncoupling membrane is the first of its kind revolutionary unbonded loose laid system that provides up to 50% time savings. Now, difficult substrate issues such as existing floor coverings, cutback adhesive, oil, paint, and other contaminants are no longer a problem. Costly subfloor prep is significantly reduced or eliminated entirely. First, the substrate must be evenly and structurally sound per TCNA and TTMAC guidelines. Sweep and clean any dust or debris from the substrate. Along the perimeter walls, install ARDEX UD146 edge installation strip with a self-sticking foot. After acclimating the membrane to the room temperature, measure and cut the ARDEX UI720 to size and lay the membrane over the substrate and place. Roll the second piece of the membrane into place, butting the sections together, and overlap the protruding edges of the self-adhesive mesh. Press the mesh into place. At the roll ends and at cut areas, use ARDEX UD158 seam reinforcement mesh over these seams. All movement joints and perimeter joints must be honored up through the membrane and the tile installation per TCNA and TTMAC guidelines. Pull the mats to the joint, leaving a 5/16 to 3/8 inch space over the joint. To avoid mortar getting into these joints, place the self-adhesive ARDEX UD156 joint movement tape over the joint seam. Using the flat side of the trowel, completely fill the cavities of the membrane with the appropriate ARDEX mortar, even and flush with the top of the mesh. Notice how easily the mortar fills the unique bone-shaped pattern. When installing tile over ARDEX UI720 FlexBone, comb the next layer of mortar wet in wet. Using the proper trowel for the tile being installed, comb out the mortar. Place the tile into the mortar. When installing large format tile using ARDEX high performance Microtech mortars, back buttering is typically not required. TCNA and TTMAC do recommend back buttering large format tile. ARDEX recommends polymer modified mortars with an ISO 13007 C2 rating and or ANSI 118.4, 118.11, or 118.15 for ARDEX uncoupling system installations. After the mortar is cured, grout the floor. ARDEX mortars allow grouting to begin from 3 to 24 hours. Please refer to the appropriate technical data sheet for grouting times. Perimeter and expansion joints can be filled with a suitable soft joint filler like ARDEX SX 100% silicone sealant or ARDEX CA20P multi-purpose construction adhesive and sealant. Because ARDEX UI720 FlexBone floating uncoupling membrane system is an unbonded system, floors can be changed out easily anytime without disturbing the substrate or damaging any encased in-floor heating. ARDEX UI720 FlexBone is ideal for multi-unit housing, showrooms, boutique retail, trade shows, or finicky homeowners where floors are changed frequently. ARDEX UI720 FlexBone floating uncoupling membrane, the most advanced single-source technology innovation for unmatched savings, safety, and convenience.
When installing the UI720, it's always recommended to install the UD146 perimeter edge strip first. This provides the required quarter-inch space between the tile and the walls to allow proper shear movement. The self-adhesive foot holds the perimeter edge strip in place and provides a barrier to protect the subfloor from any mortar seepage between the tile and the wall. As an added option, both ARDEX liquid backer board as well as ARDEX K60 can be used as a prefill layer first. ARDEX liquid backer board is a self-leveling underlayment for both wood as well as concrete. You can walk on it in 3 hours. It has outstanding coverage of 32.5 square feet per bag at a quarter-inch depth. ARDEX K60 is a fiber reinforced tile and stone mortar. It needs very little prep to install the K60. Latex and specialty cements only, no water required for this product. The following towel mortars are recommended for use both above and below the FlexBone membranes. The ARDEX S28 Microtech Rapid Set Super Format Towel Uncoupling Membrane. ARDEX X5, it's a versatile and flexible towel and stone mortar. ARDEX X77 Microtech, which is a fiber reinforced towel and stone mortar with a true 60-minute open time. And the ARDEX X4 large format towel and stone mortar. ARDEX offers the System 1 warranty. It's the most advanced single source uncoupling solutions and comprehensive warranty in the industry. One manufacturer, one point of contact. 25-year system warranty for the UI 740 and a 10-year system warranty for the UI 720 FlexBone. Let's talk a little bit about in-floor heating system. The ARDEX FlexBone in-floor heating system. Electric in-floor heating systems have become extremely popular. ARDEX FlexBone Heat is a complete system that offers maximum comfort and energy efficiency. It's a single source, complete system solution, which includes the uncoupling mat, high performance products like the ARDEX substrate prep, self-leveling products, patches, as well as mortars and grouts, your FlexBone heating cables that come in both 120 volts as well as 240 volt. We have FlexBone heat thermostats, the Wi-Fi and touchable programmable thermostat, as well as the FlexBone power module. The FlexBone heat membrane is a 3-in-1. It's an in-floor heating plus uncoupling and waterproofing. The unique design offers less cable contact with the membrane for maximum heat efficiency. The thermal break actually elevates and raises the cable off the membrane for full encapsulation of either your self-leveling material or your towel mortar. The radial curved cable placement protects cables against kinking as well as damage. Just like the UI 720 and the UI 740, the FlexBone heat pre-fills in just one pass. You also have the option of pre-filling the FlexBone heat with the liquid backer board or the ARDEX K60. The FlexBone heat membrane has minimal memory, which makes installation stress-free. The FlexBone heat membrane makes the system extremely energy efficient. There is less air space to heat because there is less air pockets under the membrane. There is more mortar on top for a faster and better conductivity. This equals less energy usage to get the floor covering heated. When a thicker membrane is needed for seamless transitions to hardwood floors, FlexBone heat mat can be used with or without the heating wires for a thicker and seamless transition. ARDEX FLEXBONE heat cables are available in both 120 volt as well as 240 volts. There's 15 sizes in the 120 volt options and 19 sizes in the 240 volt options. The FlexBone heat cable is the same diameter for all sizes. The spacing for the installation is 3.88 inches apart, compared to our competition of anywhere between 3 to 3.5 inches spacing. There's less cable required for your installation, which is going to equal approximately 11% less wattage used. The hot-cold junction is in the same wire. There's no need to cut the membrane in the mortar to place in the fitting. Most of the products on the market have this very bulky fitting that requires you to cut out the mat, the mortar, and then hot glue that junction box down before installing your mortar and tile. The FlexBone wires are interlaced instead of being soldered. They're the highest quality cable insulation with heat resistance to 401 degrees Fahrenheit. The aluminum tubing guarantees 0 electromagnetic fields. There are 2 sensors included with each system. As you can see from the picture, there is significantly better and more efficient heat in the FlexBone heating cable system. So we have the Wi-Fi and touchable programmable thermostat. We have the touchable programmable thermostat, the base model, which is a non-programmable thermostat, and the power module, which connects 2 cables to 1 thermostat. There's 1 floor sensor in the thermostat box, as well as 1 floor sensor in the box of wire. So you'll get 2 sensors for the installation. FlexBone heat can be installed under tile and stone, approved wood, approved LVT, as well as approved carpet. Always contact the manufacturer of the flooring to determine if their product can be installed over in-floor heating. The FlexBone heat system comes with a 10-year single-source complete system warranty. It's a maximum heat comfort with the ultimate peace of mind.
The rise in popularity of in-floor heating systems is due to both the ease in installation and their affordability. They are energy efficient and provide added heat in your home. ARDEX proudly introduces FlexBone Heat in-floor heating systems. FlexBone Heat features a precision engineering and innovative design for maximum comfort and energy efficiency, delivering warmth and comfort in any room. ARDEX FlexBone Heat is a 3-in-1 system for in-floor heat, uncoupling, and waterproofing. The ARDEX FlexBone Heat membrane has no memory and rolls out flat, helping you install faster. Cables install easily, and like all ARDEX FlexBone membranes, pre-filling with mortar is done in just 1 pass.
If you need a fast-track option to fully encase the heat cables, consider our industry-trusted ARDEX self-leveling underlayments. Before ordering materials, complete a pre-installation room layout. It is essential to know the area of the room that will be heated so the correct cable length can be purchased for the installation. Review the ARDEX FLEXBONE heat installation worksheet and warranty form included in each heat cable box. It is also available on www.ardexamericas.com. Complete this form in its entirety and return to ARDEX Americas to ensure you are eligible for the ARDEX FLEXBONE heat system warranty. You will need to make notes during your installation, so keep it handy. Ensure the substrate is clean and free of any contaminants or debris. The substrate should be flat and level. Place the ARDEX UD146 edge insulation strip around the installation area. This provides the required 1/4 inch perimeter spacing. Roll the FlexBone heat membrane into place and make the necessary cuts using ARDEX FlexBone shears. The ARDEX FlexBone heat membrane can be installed with any of these ARDEX mortars. Key in, then comb the ARDEX mortar to install the FlexBone heat membrane. Place the FlexBone heat membrane into the wet mortar and press the membrane into the mortar with a float using firm, even pressure. Occasionally lift a corner of the membrane to ensure you are getting full transfer onto the membrane. Place the pre-cut FlexBone heat membrane side by side, ensuring that the crossbone patterns are aligned as shown here. Mark off the areas of the membrane that will not be receiving heating cables such as cabinets or islands. Remove the spool of cable from its packaging and conduct the first of 3 required resistance tests. Conduct your resistance test and record the value on the ARDEX FlexBone heat installation worksheet and warranty form. Begin placing the FlexBone heat cable into the membrane following your pre-installation layout. The unique heat cable has the hot and cold lead self-contained. The precision-engineered design of the FlexBone heat membrane allows for radial placement of the cable, which helps protect against kinking and damage. Place the cable using a float or by hand, spacing the cables every 2 crossbones. Cables must be placed 2 inches or more away from any wall. Place the sensor wire between the loops of cable and secure into the membrane. 2 sensors are provided, one with heat cable and one with the thermostat. The design of the membrane provides minimal touch points between the cable and the membrane, resulting in increased heating and energy efficiency. In addition, the thermal break elevations lift the cable off the membrane for complete encapsulation of the cable. Your FlexBone heat installation is now ready to do the second of 3 resistance tests before you install the Tyler stone. Conduct your resistance test and record the value on the ARDEX FlexBone heat installation worksheet and warranty form. If required, the FlexBone heat system can provide waterproofing for your installation. Install ARDEX SK175 waterproof seam tape over the membrane seams and at transitions. These ARDEX mortars are approved for pre-filling and installing Tyler stone over FlexBone heat. The innovative design of FlexBone heat allows you to pre-fill in just 1 pass. For fast-track pre-filling, ARDEX liquid backerboard and ARDEX K60 self-levelers are approved for use with the FlexBone heat membrane. Using a self-leveling underlayment reduces the risk of damaging cables and provides complete encapsulation of the cable. Install the Tyler stone with ARDEX high-performance mortars. Once complete, conduct the 3rd and final resistance test and record the final value on the ARDEX FlexBone heat installation worksheet and warranty form. Once the mortar has properly cured, grout your installation with an ARDEX grout. Fill any movement or expansion joints with ARDEX SX 100% silicone sealant. Please note that a licensed electrician must complete the cable connections to the thermostat and breaker panel. Consult your local building codes to ensure compliance. ARDEX FlexBone heat systems feature an innovative, thoughtful design for maximum comfort and energy efficiency, and delivers heat comfort faster where you want it, on your bare feet.
Okay, thank you. And we are going to open it up for questions. So type in your questions.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So one of the questions that have come through is, are there any limitations on the floating one? So I believe they're referring to the UI 720.
Yes. So there are some limitations for the UI 720. And those limitations are we don't want to install the UI 720 in very wet areas that are going to have a lot of water. There are perforations in the mat, and the water could eventually get through the mat and get trapped under the substrate. Those perforations actually help ventilate the system. For areas that need waterproofing, we want to use the UI 740 bonded.
And how about service ratings between the two systems, between the bonded and the floating FlexBone?
So the UI 740 received the extra heavy service rating, which means it can go or be installed in any area, high traffic, in interior applications. The UI 720 is a light commercial rating, which means it can go into like a boutique clothing store at the mall, but we don't want it in the actual mall corridors where the heavy traffic loads are. We're not worried about people actually walking so much. We're worried about the rolling loads. The rolling loads offer high impact with the hard metal wheels of some of the casters. And we also don't want to install the UI 720 where there may be very heavy equipment like commercial food equipment that have high point loads on the legs of those equipment as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Mark. Is the edge foam required on all the ARDEX Uncoupling, including heat?
It is only required for the UI 720 floating membrane. It is recommended to use it for all the systems. It gives you that peace of mind that you are going to honor that 1/4-inch joint gap up against the wall. Now, we all know that we can say, well, we will leave our tile away from the wall or away from cabinets, but we may send a helper back and he could hard grout that in and just ruin the whole fact that you left that movement gap there. So for a peace of mind and extra protection, we do recommend using the edge insulation strip. But to answer the question, it is only needed for the UI 720 for the warranty.
That's a really good point. Thanks, Mark. I believe this question is about the UI 720 again. How does it work if it's not bonded to the floor? And I guess I can understand that because I was in the same position the first time I saw UI 720, because my entire career I've been taught we bond the tile to the floor. So can you explain?
Yeah, so the mat is constructed in a way that it has a blue fleece on the top layer of the mat. And what that does is that acts as almost like putting metal lath down on a substrate. It's going to basically firm up that installation, and it's going to allow it to be freely uncoupled from the substrate below. So I guess the best way to think of it is a floating mud floor or an unbonded mud bed over a slip sheet, kind of the same type of application.
Perfect. And the way I guess I expand on that question typically is that blue reinforcing that's on the top of the UI 720 kind of acts like rebar. And once you embed the thin set in it, then the whole entire system becomes one monolithic unit that is all kind of tied together. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Good point. Yep.
Mark, that looks like that's all the questions we have.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone again for taking your time out of your busy days to learn a little bit about the FlexBone uncoupling systems. We want to invite you back in 2 weeks on April 27th for the ARDEX exterior systems. Until then, we thank you and be safe.